greatest government of all time. Now, you remember earlier in the week, the Prime Minister was not happy at a question that was asked by independent MP Dai Le for the seat of Fowler in Sydney's southwest. Remember, this was a place where the unions could pick the candidate, the Labor Party would be able to hold on to this seat, and who cares who actually lives there? Well, one of their own, a Vietnamese refugee, of course, fought back and became that MP. And she does not miss when she asks questions in Parliament.
Prime Minister, the capital gains tax and negative gearing changes announced in the May budget were significant and market-sensitive measures. So significant, your government has already walked past of them back in recent days. Can the Prime Minister give the House a strong assurance that no government MP or their close relations used prior knowledge of those changes for private financial benefit before they were made public?
So the member for Fowler, if she's got a suggestion or an allegation about anyone in the chamber, she should actually say it, what it is, and preferably say it outside.
Order.
This isn't a council. This is a serious parliament. We were very careful, as always occurs. As always occurs, and I'm sure, as has always occurred for as long as I've been here across the board, whoever has been the Treasurer and gone through our ERC processes, that is something that we have in this country that we should cherish and we should honour, not denigrate to try to score a cheap point.
I spoke with Dai Le from Canberra a little earlier tonight. I began by asking her, why did she ask that question of the Prime Minister?
From my perspective, as you know, the changes to the CGT and negative gearing has huge ramifications on the market. It's market-sensitive information. So I think my question, I think people are really turning this around. It's actually about the system. It's about getting the assurance from the Prime Minister that there were guardrails in place so that these major decisions has huge impact in the markets. And we want to know, who knows what, when it was known, and whether or not anyone within the government or connected to them are aware of such information that are having, like I said, market-sensitive information, and did they act on those knowledge prior to it becoming public? As we know, people out there, the Australian public, Australian workers, any changes to the tax system, ordinary working Australians find out about it in the media or down the track, and they are scrambling to understand how that will impact them. Be you a young person saving for a deposit in a home, or trying to sell your shares. None of that information is actually available until it's announced, and of course it's still being dissected. So from my perspective, that question was around assurance, guardrails, and who knew what, and when was it known, and was there guardrails in place? As we know, the Labor Party has caucus. There's a caucus system. So therefore, any major decisions are also discussed at caucus. So just wanted to really have that assurance, and I have no doubt the public want that assurance as well from our Prime Minister.
And the Prime Minister was as direct as he could possibly be, that he believed there was no concern in and around the issue. And then he got very personal in the answer. What did you think of the swipe that he took at you as essentially somebody who's not up to the mark because you're bringing low-grade council issues or council-style politics up in the federal parliament?
Yeah. Look, you know what? I think that was really belittling council, which is the third level of government. And we all know that that third level of government has the most connection to the communities. And I think, and the funny thing was that on that day, there were councillors and mayors down in Canberra for the local government week. So for him to dismiss council as if, can I tell you at council level, the council have more, there are more compliance and more regulations and more declaration very upfront. If you ask any council, they will tell you straight away. Were there guardrails in place? Absolutely. There's none of this that's dancing around where there are guardrails in place for major policy changes like that. So I think I think, but then, of course, the Prime Minister talk about how he's very well connected or have done a lot of things for local government, and yet in the same breath, he kind of said, this is not a council meeting. Well, I can tell you in a council meeting, we're very organised, at least in my council, and that actually we get answers if there are questions raised. So, you know, look, it's up, the public will see the Prime Minister's behaviour and his answers to me for what it is. I just stood up and I asked him to actually show respect in the House, because he's somebody that has talked about let's do politics differently. And I think that the way that he responded and the way that he took a snipe at me, you know, Paul, I have been taught that in politics, you play the ball, not the man or the woman in my case. And I think that we need to focus on that in politics, to look at the bigger issue, to answer the questions and not to make it personal.
Now, we know that the majority of Australians are not happy with the budget, not happy with the Prime Minister at the moment. 6 out of 10 in our poll here, put together by YouGov, say they're dissatisfied with the Prime Minister's performance. Let's take it down to Fairfield. Let's take it down to your community. What are you seeing, hearing and reading? And are there things that would otherwise not really get involved in politics that have become enlivened by the decisions made in this budget?
Look, I think it's not just the budget, Paul. I think that since last term when I got elected, I have spoken about the cost of living, and it's more so now as obviously, you know, rent has. We are in Fowler, in particular in southwest Sydney, we have what we call the rental stress. About 46% of my, you know, residents in my electorate actually rent. So there's implications for the changes in negative gearing and CGT, because rent will go up, because it's just the way that, you know, obviously landlords is going to put up rent. That has ramifications, impact on those, you know, who are renting. Not only that, the cost of groceries have gone up. Energy prices, as you know, I've been, you know, banging on about that. That is still a big issue in our community. And of course, affordability of buying a home. A medium house in Cabramatta is about 1.2 million. So the policies that the government have released in this budget, none of that is actually going to bring down the current the prices of homes currently. So from my perspective, people are still struggling with the cost of living. A school, you know, a group of school kids came to see me this week, and they said, oh, you know, there's a cost of living, and this is year 6 telling me that there's cost of living in the community. So cost of living still very much front and centre of people's mind.
Well, Dai, more strength to your arm. Keep banging away. You're the one asking the questions. You're the one brave enough to take it all. And as we spoke about last night in this conversation about, you know, Australian culture, all the rest of it, I love that you're the one wearing the national flag. It's the Prime Minister and his mates that are trying to sort of hide it behind the 2 other ones they prefer. Always great to talk to you, Dai.
Thank you, Paul.